tribe. I'll yeah, I think I can get away without the glasses right now. So it's 5:30. Five or 5:30. Monday afternoon, and it's a sultry summer's afternoon. I'll show you. So you can see there's thunder clouds there. Any minute it could rain, and you can really feel it. There's the dogs over there. Can you see them? I learnt something the other day about how to get in closer. Oh no, have I gone? Oh. On video the other day I learnt, oh, that's so cool. All I have to do is touch it, for goodness sakes. I can see Zena's silhouette in the mirror. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Look at Zena's silhouette shadow in the water. That is next level beautiful. I wish I could take a photo of that. See, the problem is, with videos you can, with videos you can take footage, but with, I haven't worked out how to do that yet with YouTube Live. But you know what? I will. And I'm aware that's shaking a lot. Don't know why. So as you can see, it's a overcast late summers. You can see bright blue sky, grey sky. It's hot. That humidity hot. And you can tell it could be a thunderstorm at any second. So that's the type of weather it's in. For any of you who are interested in the weather, personally, I find you know, some of the YouTubes I've done, it's been a freezing cold day. Some of it's been a really, really boiling hot, dry, hot day. It just lets you know where I am. As you can see, the water is coming down, but we still have water. Well, we had rain the other day. We actually had a bit of rain, quite a lot of rain actually, about 2 days ago. And it was very unexpected. It was just a really dry, hot day, and then towards the end of the day, oh, it was nighttime. Sorry, yeah, it was nighttime, and you could hear all these raindrops on the roof, and they were heavy raindrops. It was amazing. Just out of nowhere, just because that's what happens. The rain builds up in the clouds and then it just drops. So I'm just walking through this water here, so I have to be a little bit careful when I get through this bit and I'll get to the other side. Anyways, amazing. Love weather. Some of you might love it like I do. Cycles. I basically love this whole story of cycles of life. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. In fact, I should have videoed that. Sorry, she was rolling down the grass and then she fell in. That was funny. I should have turned it around quicker. Anyways, the point of the story is Cycles of Life is basically the title that could be for every single live, really, if you think about it, because everything is a cycle. So, I've talked about the weather and where I am right now. And what's happening? It's muggy, it's nice. You can hear the animals, the birds, the chirping. Oh, I just had raindrop on my arm. The story goes, first thing, we'll tick off the little boxes. The theatre production final night was last Saturday. So we had 2 weeks of production on stage. So 3 months rehearsals for 2 weeks of the show. Every night was sold out. Every night was a full house. Every night the audience participation was awesome. It was really there. Everyone really enjoyed the show. The feedback's been it was a fantastic show. The cast and I are we had a community page set up on Messenger to converse about, you know, rehearsals and everything. We're still keeping it going. We're still organising dinners and stuff. So firm and fast friendships have been made. phone numbers have been swapped. Many of us are Facebook friends. Many of us have got our own friendships now outside of the circle of the play. So that's one big pro that came out of the play. But the other one that came out of the play was character development. A very, very interesting experience when you perform on stage. A very interesting experience. Something changes in us. It's not just about learning the character and being this new character. It's actually something in us develop, something in us changes, something in us evolve, something in us gets unlocked. And it's fascinating. And everyone that I spoke to in my cast said the same thing. Some of the people there have been, one of the ladies has been in theatre for 25 years, but for a few of us, a lot of them have been in theatre for a very long time. One lady's been there since, so half the cast have been in theatre for a lot of their life. Half the cast, it was their first time. Sorry, a third of the cast was their first time, and a quarter of the cast, it was their first time. A quarter of the cast, they'd done 1 or 2 shows before, and half of the cast had been in theatre for a lot of their life. So it was a really good mix. For those of us who it was our first time, we were blown away with how much energy it took, and you had to be committed. Like if you didn't turn up, you're laying down your cast and you're laying down the audience. So it was one of the most, like, you know, when you work and you've got a team, you can actually call in sick with notice because someone can fill in for you. Well, in a theatre production, you can't do that. You have your role to play and no one else, unless you're in a big production, there's understudies, there's no one to fill your role. So if you don't turn up, the show doesn't go on. And also, if you can't perform on the night and the show is ineffective or not as good as it could be, you've really let down your cast who've worked really hard, and you've let down the audience. And it was really, really, really interesting how many people were going through really hard times. One of my co-cast members was having a very, very, very hard time. And I had to, when every minute she was on stage, I was hugging her, holding her, we're holding hands, giving her rescue remedy. You know, she was having this lots of stuff was going on for her. And that, yet no one in the audience would have known that. No one would have known that year one was having a really horrible time those two nights of the show. I did the whole show with an injured ankle, and no one would have known I was in pain. But everyone had an issue of some sorts, right? So we won't go into that story. Just so much commitment. And the relief for when it's over. And then you go, like Monday, last night, it was our first Monday of no rehearsal. And there's so many people going, oh, what's everyone doing on their night off from no rehearsals? Sorry. After the show started, we didn't do Monday, but we did a run. We didn't do rehearsal on Monday night, but we did a run through on Tuesday night, which is like still going through the lines. So midweek between the 2 weekends of doing the play. Anyways, point of story, everyone. Cycles of life and the journey of love. So one of the things I experienced from being in this theatre production was a real journey of love within myself. On a next level. And I didn't do that many YouTube shows, as you know, because I was just too exhausted. The rehearsals and learning this. Sorry, I'm just walking up. I'll show you where I'm walking up. And I've still got my injured foot. I might just go, I was going to go up. There's my feet. I was going to go up there, which is steeper than it looks. But I think what we will do instead is we'll go through this. Ouch. And I'll show you what I'm walking through so you can actually see why I have to be careful. See the patterns in the water? Beautiful, hey? Okay, so we're gonna, sorry, hang on a minute. I've actually just hit a part of the river where I have to focus on what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, my foot, my ankle, I've had ultrasounds done on it. And it's rough. It's in a really bad state, really serious. Oh, good Lord. Anyways, you got to work with what you got. And I think there's a reason for everything. Wow, I can tell you right, this ankle injury has really slowed me down in a mammoth way. Journey of love as well. as this whole cycle, for any of you who've been following my YouTube channel, you realise there's been a big journey of love the whole way through. Different layers of love, learning love. Fascinating topic, right? And one of the things I've come to realise is when you embrace each cycle, oh, look at this. Look at that little bug. That's an interesting bug, look. Big black bug. It's bigger than it looks, okay? That's actually almost the size of half my finger. That was actually a big bug. Oops. So basically, what I'm trying to say, everyone, is that I'm so looking forward to going through my YouTube shows I've done and taking notes and doing the montage and stuff, just to remember. It is part of the reason why I did them. I've shared with you this over and over and over again. God asked me to do it. Sorry, I got bitten by a march and it's really... I was asked to do it by God, and in the beginning I just surrendered to the process, but now I realise I've got a video record of the journey, of the different layerings of learning, of the journey of learning about love. And it's beautiful. And I haven't been writing, which is not good. And I have to really look at why have I not been writing, but I'm not going to do that from a place of stress. I'm going to do it from a place of love. There's the beautiful ones running around. I have to do it from a place of love, just like everything. When I accepted this theatre production role, I did it because my beautiful friend knew I was in a mentally, like she knew I was in, most people know that my life has been a living torment for a really long time, and it's been really hard to survive, and I've just been focusing on, bit by bit, but everything's been such hard toil and a lot of surrendering. And to join the theatre, I've spoken a few times before. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I did not know how much commitment I was going to have to give. And I did not know what the journey was going to be. But I said yes anyways, because my friend was really encouraging me, and she was in the production as well, really encouraging me to be part of the community. And to be able to actually have something to do in life that was not just working on the property, working on the land, toiling away to make money to barely survive, because to barely get this and this. Learning the script and learning the songs was so good for my brain. I've shared this on my YouTube. It actually got my brain in action again in a healthy, good way. I talked about this before, about the act, commit, belong ethos. And literally, it was one of the best things I could ever do to get this beautiful brain of mine, that is such a high-functioning brain when it works. Like, this brain of mine is phenomenally clever when it chooses to work, or when I'm emotionally stable enough, or when I'm hormonally balanced enough. And getting my brain out of that fog and getting it back into action, reading the script and learning the songs, actually in a fun way, and also completely accountable way, because I couldn't back out. Once I agreed to it, I couldn't back out. So it was really, really interesting journey. And everyone, I will thoroughly recommend that you join an amateur theatre production and give it a go at least once. Give it a go. Just sign up for a small role and go through that process of seeing what happens in you, because seriously, what you go through, you've got no choice but to keep going. Unless it's a really big company, you have to do your role. You can't pull out. And that's really good for us to learn about sticking things out, stickability, and also not failing, like knowing, keep going. So we don't get that sense of failure because we gave up. So we get a sense of accomplishment, achievement, because we actually succeeded in something really big. When you're on a theatre and you're performing in front of people, like, you know, I was out and about in my local country town today, and I was doing a few things, and I had a few people stop me and go, "You are marvellous, you are spectacular, what a great show." And I'm not saying that people do productions to get accolades, but people all of a sudden see you as this brave, funny, proactive member of the community because you've provided something for the community. You've put yourself out there and shown yourself. You've gone, "Hey, I'm here and I'm offering you something for your benefit." So that's one slide. But anyways, could go on and on about it for so long. Seriously, trust me on this. And everyone else in my theatre will say the same thing too. It is mind-blowingly, overwhelmingly astounding, the process of what happens when you join an amateur theatre company and commit to a production, and you walk in as a group of strangers. Most of us were strangers, and you come out of it like a family. It is amazing. Amazing. I'll give you an example. I had my role in the play was Widow Cracker, and that in itself was amazing because I wore my wedding ring as a prop. But what was really amazing was when I had the role of Widow Cracker, I got into the mindset of being a widow, and I went through a lot of grief around being a widow, like actually being a legit widow, because I'm actually legally married to someone who's treating me like I'm dead, like I don't exist. Like to my husband, I'm dead, I don't exist. I'm not alive, nothing, dead, gone. So, widow. So my husband's acting and treating me like I'm dead. So does that not mean there is a death? And because of my husband choosing to treat me like I don't exist, does that not mean he is dead as well? Like there is death in the marriage, okay? So being a widow and going into that energy of being a widow in itself was phenomenal. So when you choose a character that suits whatever, like I believe God wanted me to play that role. And it's more amazing than that because my daughters in the play, these two beautiful women who were now firm and fast friends, but they think of me as mother. And I actually feel of them as my daughters. And we now have this really amazing family relationship, mother-daughter family relationship. And we're developing this really strong bond that will very likely be forever. And those two girls need something in me that they didn't have before. And I need something in them that I didn't have before. So that's just phenomenal. Please trust the process of it being the right play, the right character, and whatever you go through in the development of that, being in that character, I would say is exactly what you need to experience. The Journey of Love, the play, has taken me to just that process of going into that energy of being widow. That was phenomenal for me. And I believe it's exactly what I needed to experience. I needed to experience the death of the situation. And I personally believe that the cycles of life and the journey of love, like as you see with the river drying out and all, so the water goes up to almost to the tops of those trees. This whole underwater up. Okay, so you can see here, you can see all that debris in that tree. The water goes even higher than that. And you can see this is all open and in the air and drying out. But the water is actually this high. And it's a torrent, a really strong, heavy water. Like if you've gotten this water when it's winter, be taken away, you just so much power in the torrent, and now it's all dry. So to me, that's a cycle, okay? And it's a cycle of death and life because the trees are coming back, the plants come back, but things dry out. I've talked about this so many times, everyone. So many times. It's one of the reasons why I haven't been doing as many YouTubes as well, because I realise there's too many topics that have been repeated. And I'm trying to work out how to reword things in a new way or coming from a new perspective. And then I keep going, look, It's okay if I talk about the same thing, because each time it's another layer. And that's also love. That's my journey of love. For me to be to you on this YouTube is such a loving act of me to you, being of service to the humanity, but also it's a process of love of me, that whatever it is I provide is enough. I don't need to overthink it. I don't need to over perfect it. Whatever it is that comes out is perfect. Whoever needs to hear it, it's perfect. That's a journey of love, a journey of self-love. That's a journey of self-acceptance, self-honor, surrendering to God. We are in a society that tries to push people to look a certain way, be a certain way, conform a certain way, do it a certain way, you know. And really, it's everyone's unique voice and unique individuality and unique passion and unique perspective and unique offering. That's actually what's required. That's what actually makes the world amazing. So, I'm just watching out for the snakies. So this is what we're walking through right now. I don't know if you can see my bare feet. I don't know what you can see. So I have to be careful of snakies because it's really nice weather right now. It's muggy, warm, but wet. And the snakes are actually light brown colour, so they look like the ground. So what I'm trying to say, everyone, is that I do question my what I'm going to share, and should I share it, and do I have the energy to share it? And there's been plenty of times when I've gone, oh, I'd like to share this, and then I don't. And yeah, whatever. It's just what it is. Like right now I have a headache, and it's almost a migraine, and my neck's really sore. And you know, in all ways, in all honesty, I could say, no, I don't want to do this. This is, like, it actually takes a lot of effort doing these lives, because it takes me away from my equilibrium of having these walks on my own. I keep getting feedback over and over again about how important my topics are, or what I've shared is something that someone needed to hear. And there will come a time when as I've said over and over again, I'm going to do a montage of the thousands of hours of the clips, and I'll turn it into something succinct and educational and powerful, and turn these thousands of hours of something into a 40-minute or 1 hour montage, as I said. And I'm going to get help to do that from someone who really understands all this technology. I've already got someone lined up to help me set up my computer and get my office study library all set up to make it into a professional therapy space, but also into a professional recording space. And then I'll start doing more. I don't know if you can hear that wind. Ouch. And then I'm going to start doing more and more and more stuff from home, and it won't be so jittery or over the place. But at the moment, the only time I want to do this YouTube live is when I'm walking. Little Zena and Alvin. But back to the journey of love. This whole thing, this whole process of everything, my YouTube channel, the theatre production, my husband choosing to completely betray me, like it was a false marriage from the start, you know, and I did not know this. Oh my God, because I know my husband loves me with his heart and soul. I know he loves me in a way he's never loved anyone. And I know that that's what feared him. That was his biggest fear, love. He doesn't understand love. He doesn't know love. He doesn't get love. So it brought up a lot of fear for him. So there was that side of it. And it also brought up a lot of fear for me, because, you know, I'm marrying the love of my life, and we're creating this whole new life and world together. And it didn't look anything like what he professed it was going to look like, or what we both discussed and dreamed about, or what I knew was our reality. Like, we had many, many, many beautiful, beautiful moments and days and hours when he was in full surrender, and I would say when he wasn't actually looking at his phone or looking at his emails. But what I did not know, as many of you know now, that He is what thousands of people are, a narcissistically abused scapegoat. And there's so much information on this. And these people don't have their own individuality or their own personality. Not truly. The narcissist bully that's been in their life forever, one word, one sentence, can undo months, years of health healing. One sentence, one word. Dr. Ramani, she's amazing. The more I learnt about it, the more I realised the betrayal wasn't conscious. And that's where the forgiveness process was much easier. I mean, in the beginning, the betrayal wasn't conscious. And in the beginning, my beloved husband was very unable to speak what was really going on. So when I was asking him questions about his withdrawnness and, blah, blah, this has all been discussed to the nth degree, so we're not going to do this now. But when I was asking those questions, because I could see, and I thought it was because I thought it was the mandates, I thought it was moving to a new place, I thought it was the financial stresses we were having, I thought it was his fear of aging and his perspective that he was inadequate to provide and this and rah. And then in hindsight, I realised it was none of any of that. It was all about him trying to work out. He was trying to find himself, his true self, what he knew was really true and right for him, in amongst this default conditioning that was being pushed on him just constantly from these horrendously dysfunctional, dark people that just did not want him to be big or beautiful or happy or healthy. They needed him to remain exactly as they had kept him and he had kept himself. So this has been a big journey of love. Big journey of love, everyone. And I know thousands and millions of you go through this same process all the time. You love someone who doesn't love themselves. You love someone who doesn't know how to fully give them of themselves or how to really accept and receive love. They see love as weakness to a degree, or they think there's an ulterior motive. They want to so much. So I've learnt a lot, and I'm so empathetic to this now. Like when I had suicidal people when I was younger reach out to me, I didn't hear the red flags, and then they died, but they'd reached out to me a day before they died or 2 days before they died, and I realised they were reaching out as a helping line and I wasn't there. So now I'm going to remember that red flag, remember that, just walking through here if you want to know where I'm walking. A lot of water. Dogs are just up there. Basically now there's certain jargon that I hear or certain actions and attitudes that I see, and I know boom, that person could be suicidal, and I step up and I go into vigilante sort of suicide protection mode. I don't know if you can see this water. And one of the people in my play, gentle. She wants to jump on me. One of the people in my play, I could identify as one of those people. So I've stepped up to be one of his protectors. And I let him know what I could see, and he was grateful for it. We've become firm and fast friends. And then it's the same with narcissistically abused people. I have become really aware of all the red flags. I've actually learnt, so all this is, you could call therapy tools that God's allowed me to hone and get, which I'm really grateful for, because now I can really step up and help and support people. So now I can see narcissistic abuse from a mile away. It is so glaringly obvious to me. So glaringly obvious. And that's why with the police, when the police told me I was a victim of psychological abuse, and I didn't want to believe it, and they went out of their way to make sure I really got it through my head, because they've seen it over and over again too. They see the red flags. So when people see stuff and they're able to help people heal and learn and grow, this is what we do. We help people see something that they can't see within themselves. And I basically believe that was one of my journeys of love, what I had to go through what I had to go through. I had to learn this journey of love, of learning what it was like to love someone who was unable to love themselves, was fearful of love, was suspicious of love, and then would turn on and hate the one who was loving because it was too scary. It was easier to live in a world riddled with smallness and fear and lies and deceit and macabre sort of nastiness and all that sort of stuff. That was easier because that was their learnt behaviour. That's what they knew. That was their familiarity zone. So now that I've had first-hand experience of that, one, I've learned how to love myself in that process of, because there's this thing called betrayal trauma, and I suffered from betrayal trauma for a really long time. And betrayal trauma is a terrible, terrible, terrible affliction to have, because you go through the trauma of being betrayed, but the biggest and hardest thing to heal is your self-betrayal, where you didn't see the red flags quick enough. You didn't work out how to protect yourself enough. You could have prevented the abuse. You could have prevented the pain, but you didn't see it. And so I'm just going through some really deep water here. So I have to work it. I'll show you where I am, actually. Okay, there's the dogs over there. And I've got to cross over now. And this is actually one of the deepest parts of the river right here. What I'm trying to say is this journey of love, for me, involved how to forgive myself for putting myself in a situation where I was psychologically abused, to forgive myself for not seeing the signs, for not getting the help, for not, blah, 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 blah. So what I'm trying to say here, everyone, journeys of love, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get wet here. Hang on. I just need to focus for a second. Hang on. Can you see here? Oh, no. I'm just going to have to get wet. Oh, all right. Definitely wet. Whoop. That's okay. It's all right. Whew. Yeah, you can see I don't know. It's very pretty. Ouch. I'll just show you. For those of you who live in the city, that's just where I've walked through. It's quite deep. And rolled my dress up. Wet, doesn't matter. Hot day. Nice. Anyways, cycles of life and the journey of love involves death. It involves ego death. It involves death of dreams. It involves death of, like how we want things to be, how we want things to look. I'm pretty sure you guys can hear that wind. So, and in that process, everyone, that's why I was able to say yes to the theatre production. Why I'm able to say yes. Where I live right now it's a hard place to live. It's a hard place even if two people are committed to making it work. A lot of effort. Two people working the land, working the house. Even then, it's, everyone's got to commit to a certain amount of hours per day to make it work. I've had heaps of people say, it takes a lot of commitment, a lot of effort, and it's consistent. It's every day. Well, I've been doing it on my own. I've been doing it on my own from basically the beginning. Like, I had very little help. Every now and again, there was a couple of times I got a little bit of help here, a little bit of help there, but predominantly I've been doing it all on my own. And I've been doing it all on my own with a tiny, tiny, tiny budget and just a plethora of injuries and disabilities. So it has been a slog. It's been one of the hardest experiences I've ever had in my life. It's been one of the most depressing, debilitating, exhausting, soul-destroying experiences I've ever had in my life. I felt so trapped that I had nowhere to go, nothing to do. Like I had the choice of adopting my dogs out, my dog and my cat, and living in the ute, and going for as far as a small amount of money would take me with petrol, and then be somewhere in the middle of nowhere for however long. But I didn't even have my camping stuff because my camping stuff had been taken away from me. So basically, it's pretty obvious that I actually really didn't have a choice. Of course I had a choice. I always had the choice to abandon ship, abandon the animals, abandon the land, abandon the house, and just drive for as long as I could until I ran out of petrol, and couch surf and find a job here, find a job there, and start scratch wherever, and just blah. That was always a possibility. But I knew that I'd never be able to live with myself with adopting my animals out. And so I just worked out how to keep us alive, you know, and working out how to keep us alive. One of the things I had to learn was to respectfully honour and love myself enough to actually ask for help. Knowing that I could have prevented the situation, but I didn't need to feel shame for the situation I was in. I was left discarded, left betrayed. The animals and I were left to die. We were completely abandoned, completely discarded, and left to die, basically. And I knew that God wanted me and the animals to live, and I knew that there were people out there that wanted us to live, and I took myself up out of that agony to work out solutions of how, and just bit by bit, because up here it's also really hard in winter and really hard in summer. So I knew I had to get the bare basics going on, because I knew it was going to be a brutal winter coming up, which is now past, and we're now in summer. And the summers here are brutal, so I knew I had to prepare for summer. So it's about that commitment. The same with the theatre. When you join a theatre company, you let the cast down if you fail. If you have a late night before the show, or you do something and you're not well, or you're tired, you've hurt yourself, or you don't have the same energy, and you let the cast down, you let the crew down. Well, it's the same when you've got a property and you've got animals and you've got plants and animals that rely on you to stay alive. You can't give up on your role. And my role as custodian, guardian, that's a serious role to be in, and that's a journey of love, to accept that when one is in a position of responsibility and accountability, how to perceive that perspective, how to tweak that perspective so one doesn't feel as a victim. You don't want to feel like a victim. That's the last thing. This victim mentality. It's a terrible mentality. That's ego. That's like, woe is me, which was actually one of my lines in the play. Woe is us. But victim mentality is crap. That's like self-defacing, self-disempowering, and it's a negative, it's a lie. It's a narrative that's not even true, everyone. Victim mentality, you can say, I am in a situation that is not good, and you can acknowledge that there were people part of it not being good, yes, but you don't go, and go into a big sob story about it. But at the same time, you say, this is hard, I need help, but you don't go into pathetic mode of going, collapse. But you can have restorative time, but you just don't do it in, I don't know how to word that one. Like, I'm just thinking of certain people who just bloody collapse and go into pathetic mode, and month after month after month after month doing the same thing. They never move on. They don't challenge the grief. They don't go deep into the grief. Yeah, they stay on the top layer of the grief. They don't go deep into the grief. And so yeah, feel the emptiness, feel the sorrow, this is the cycles of life and love, the journey of love. Love comes with extreme pain. To truly love comes with death and pain. That's what I've come to realize. Yeah, it really does. A plant has to burst through the ground. We've talked about this before. It has to burst through the ground. It's all safe in that dark ground. It's safe. And then it has this urge, this need to burst out of its husk. And then the seed pushes through, it sprouts up, and it does not know if it's going to get chomped by a bird or stomped by a foot, or if it's going to get enough rain or sun. It just knows it needs to push through that ground, and it pushes itself out of its comfort zone. Ouch. It pushes itself through that ground, and it bursts out, and all being well, and it getting all the nourishment and need requirements met, grows into its full potential. And that is the journey of love, everyone. The journey of self-love. Push through the comfort zone. Push through the pain, the breaking through of the husk and the cocoon, the butterfly. Wow, I found out that when it was in its little pop, I've forgotten the name. When it's in this little cocoon thing, it's called, I've forgotten the name, it starts with P. But that actually hurts. They have to eat their outer shell off or something for the wings to come out. And yeah, apparently it hurts them. Anyways, the point of the story is love, the journey of love, involves allying with the shadow, and loving all of us, every element of us, exploring every element of us, reaching out for the supports that we so desire and deserve, because that's love, that's self-love, and that's letting others love us, and knowing that we're so worthy of that support and love, so worthy of it. So I'm going to leave it at that, but we will talk about this more. It's a bloody big topic. I've learned so much about the process of love, so much. It's been one of the most wonderful journeys of all. I realised that I wasn't being self-loving at all. I've been allowing very bad behaviour from a lot of people for most of my life. And mine is really amazing because it's not because I grew up with narcissistic people. I just grew up with a lot of neglect. And I grew up with a self-sufficiency narrative. Oh, I've got to do it on my own, or I can do this, or I'm capable. But underneath, I was also like, I want people to show me they're worthy. I want them to show me. I want them to step up and do something. And not everyone has that same ability. And that's why I'm learning people do need guidance and patience and surrender around that process. Anyways, I think my phone is about to die on me. It's gone really dark. I think I'm losing power, and I'm also, we're getting towards the end of our walk, but my phone is going very dark and I think it's going to shut off on me. We shall talk soon, probably more about the same topic, because I seriously it's what I realise is everything's been this whole last 17 months, or maybe even my whole life. I just can't wait to start writing my books. I've got so much to share. And now that the theatre's over, I'll probably start doing my YouTubies more regularly again, which I'm really looking forward to, and getting it professional, which I'm really looking forward to. Mwah. God bless everyone. I've got to find the button. It's so black. The screen's almost black. God bless. God bless. Love you all. Bye.